Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Shreyasi and today we are going to discuss the battle between the Indian government and the social media giants and whether the ban will or will not happen. If you have not been living under a rock, you might have heard the chatter about social media ban in newspapers, televisions, and on social media itself. Now, you might be wondering what really happened and how did we reach here? Or more realistically, if social media will still work when you wake up tomorrow. Or even more realistically, if your heart reacts will still come and if you'll still be able to post your vacation photos when COVID is over. But with the role that social media has come to play in our public discourse, almost threatening to make and break governments and essentially becoming kingmakers in democracies, how important is having this conversation? Short answer, very important. Long answer, well, you'll get it by the end of this video. And this massive, seemingly limitless power of these social media giants hasn't gone unnoticed by governments. From India to the United States, to Germany, to France, to the United Kingdom. All these countries are now calling for its regulation. Emmanuel Macron's powerful pushback against these social media players brought about this quote: "I don't want to live in a democracy where the key decisions is decided by a private player, a private social network. I want it to be decided by a law voted by your representative or by regulation, governance, democratically discussed and approved by democratic leaders." And this says best what all governments are really thinking if they aren't even saying it yet. Okay, so they have been bickering and we get this passive-aggressive war between elected officials and billion-dollar social media enterprises for a while now. But why are we here now? This is an all-out war between the government of India and Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It all started when the government of India made some new information technology rules 2021 for significant social media intermediaries. That is, social media companies with users above a certain threshold, possibly over 50 lakhs, calling for them to comply with the new rules within 3 months. The deadline was of 25th May 2021, as we know it, and of course none of these significant social media intermediaries has done anything, well, except our homegrown app Koo. I mean, these companies did ask for some extra time to engage and debate over the rules though. I'm sorry, but I had to. I see. But what are the rules? Well, the rules that apply to significant social media intermediaries include due diligence. What that essentially means is that users have to be kept informed about privacy policies. Yeah, you know the things you blindly tick and accept. Removing access to unlawful information within 36 hours on order of the court or the government. And retaining information collected of a user for 180 days after cancellation or withdrawal of registration. They also have to appoint a chief compliance officer, a grievance officer who resides in India, and publish a monthly compliance report. According to reports, Facebook, WhatsApp and others have complied, while Twitter is yet to follow. This, and perhaps the most contentious of them all, is that intermediaries that provide primarily a messaging service will have to declare the first originator of the information on its platform, if required by the government or by the court. Disclosure of the content of the message, although, will not be necessary. Simple, right? Well, not so simple. According to experts, breaking end-to-end encryption for a few offending users alone is impossible. And end-to-end encryption as we know it will stop existing, thereby compromising the right to privacy, declared a fundamental right. And now WhatsApp has sued the government of India while declaring that they intend to engage to solve this dispute. They have invoked the K.S. Puttaswamy vs. Union of India case, in which Supreme Court declared that privacy is indeed a fundamental right guaranteed by Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Get it. But where does that place Google? Well, Google has played super chill, with its CEO Sundar Pichai stating that Google is committed to complying with India's new IT rules. Other social media platforms and OTT platforms are now seeking extra time to comply with the new rules, as the deadline has already knocked their doors. But where does a potential ban leave our average Indian citizen spending hours on the social media each day? Short answer: unable to boast about vacations and having to buy an actual newspaper instead of getting news from Facebook. Long answer: it's complicated. While no one can rule out a potential ban in case of eventual non-compliance with rules, it is a very complex decision for the government as well as these social media platforms. For starters, money matters. About 448 million people in India are active social media users. For perspective, the population of America is 331 million and it is the third most populous country in the world. Digital penetration continues to grow in India as the economy continues to grow. And yes, there's a lot of scope for future growth. In already developed economies like the United States, there are already signs of social media saturation. Probably because a significant chunk of their population is already using social media. China, as we know, has already closed its lucrative markets to most of Western social media companies. All of which makes India a huge opportunity. But do we, the citizens of India, benefit of it too? Again, short answer: yes. Long answer: social media connects India with the world and is a major vehicle in the globalized world that we live in today. It has provided life to MSMEs, or micro, small and medium enterprises that are critical for our economy. But social media has also become all too powerful. With the influence it has also started to provide alternate governance, education and justice. It controls what you see, what you think, and most importantly for governments, who you vote for. This has set alarm bells ringing among most of the governments all over the world. And one of the reasons behind this growth is the blanket protection offered to social media intermediaries under Section 79 of the Information Technology Act 2000. It protects any intermediary from any content that is posted on its platform. But now the government is fighting back with the 2021 rules, which will take this protection away if they do not comply with the new rules. In the short term, possibly nothing happens. Perhaps there's no ban. But in the long term, stripped of the protection of Section 79, these intermediaries would face an existential crisis as employees of these social media companies become personally liable for something posted on the site, even if they never saw it. But let's be clear, India is not the only country that is seeking dilution of the powers of these social media giants. Section 79 of the IT Act, which is modelled on America's Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, also known as Safe Harbor, is finding critics on both sides of the spectrum. And the debate over it does not seem to end. Also, traceability of messages has long been an issue with the governments of the United States, the United Kingdom, India, and Australia. The European Union is already ahead of the curve as the French Parliament has passed a law fining social media companies if they do not remove hate speech within 24 hours, and in some cases within just 1 hour. Germany already has a similar law known as the NetzDG law. This is just to say that India is not the first country to try to regulate the internet as it exists. But all eyes will be on India and the outcome of the clash of the titans, the government on one side and the giants on the other. The rules which are already facing legal scrutiny are likely to be copied by other countries if the government wins this war. Because if social media companies give in to India, they cannot operate differently elsewhere, with potentially less liability. That's not happening. In fact, Donald Trump's executive order banning TikTok in the US had borrowed from and even mentioned India's ban of TikTok in the order. This battle between the government and the social media could be a watershed moment in how internet operates in India and around the world. For now, there is no ban, so go ahead and press the like, share and subscribe button. If you share it, it'll be very helpful to me and I'll be able to make several more videos like this, or even better, considering it's just my first. And in case social media does get banned, I'll have a memory to look back on. Now excuse me as I go post a picture of a cup of coffee. All my 3 fans on Instagram are waiting.